Hello, everybody. Simon here. So today,
Good morning, Simon.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good. We have John Dewaskin and Rob Dube. Think Business. So we put this together. John has been kind of the glue behind all of this. And we put this together to really find an efficient way for people to tap into different coaching groups, different networks. That's very cost efficient, and because of what's been going on the last year and a half, it's been more available to us. And John had this great idea of doing this. So, John, before we get into some different topics, how did this come about?
It all came about because COVID was, this was kind of last November, 2020. I felt like there was a need because people were so scattered and not in the office. They needed some training. And there's this one-to-many model that I think it's kind of a perfect time in the world for a place for people to learn one-to-many who are craving kind of interaction. They're craving networking, they're craving learning, and they're craving something that can fit within their budget. But if I go backwards, Simon, it really came from, my father was a dentist. I think I shared this a couple weeks ago. My father was a dentist, and he never turned a client away. So if they had a case that was $20,000 and couldn't afford it, they'd pay my dad $20 a month for years. And so most of my coaching is one-on-one or trainings or keynotes. And I don't want to be only a high-end coach, right? So for the ones who need extra accessibility to me and one-on-one, but I also want to be able to coach people of any budget. And so that's where kind of it was birthed. So I started this in December, and then organically, the group with you, the group with Jeff Sloan, the group with Randall Denha, and the group with Rob Dube all kind of just formed organically, right? And so it felt in alignment to be able to do something that we're launching the ones that we're all co-hosting together at the end of July. And we've spent a lot of time putting them together, the intent, the schedule, the live weekly coaching. I think that's the key. It's the live weekly coaching. And I think people learn really well with collaborating coaches who bring different opinions and lenses and expertises together. So I'm really excited. I can't wait for them.
I am too. It's a great idea. When I heard about it, it really struck a chord with me because, I thought this would add a lot of value. When I was I'm a broker, residential real estate broker. When I was an agent, I was like, man, I would love to have access to something like this. I'd love to have access to a producing agent that has just kind of taught me, like kind of speaks about different things that I'm struggling with and how they overcame it. And when I heard about it, my mind instantly went to there, and I thought it was really cool. And Rob, what you do is very unique. I think it's kind of overlooked a lot in business. I think in just being a human being, it's overlooked. Like, explain a little bit, because people don't take the time. They think about their physical well-being. They think about their, their business, their finances all the time. But I don't think they, really the headspace and where people's minds are at is probably the biggest, if not single most important thing, so tell us a little bit about what you do and your coaching program that you and John are gonna be working on.
Yeah. I mean, the mindfulness aspect of things is a great foundation. I've always felt a great starting point to help you get through your day, through your week, through your month, through your quarter, through your year, really set yourself up for success and be in a good state of mind. And really that goes well beyond your business, quite frankly. It's how you live your life. And when you live your life with intentionality and with a certain flow, people are drawn to you, and you make better decisions in your life. Your mind is a bit calmer, and you appreciate the simple things. And I think when that's all coming together, the rest, the business stuff, so to speak, really can start clicking. So, when John, similar to you, and John approached with this idea, we collaborated. We were really thinking about how this could be of added value, where people might be struggling. And we had this idea to set a foundation each week, a mindful foundation, and then give people the tools to set themselves up for the best week that they can have, and reflect at the end of the week on how things are going, because some weeks are better than others. Let's face it, right?
Right. It's true.
Right. And what about you, Simon?
I just want to say one thing about what you just said, Rob, because I think meditation's been a big part of my life, and I think more people want to meditate. But the biggest thing I always hear when I talk to people about meditation is they say, I don't have the time. I don't know how. I don't know how to get started. I can't find the space. And that's one of the things about the one, Rob, that you and I are doing. It meets every Monday and Friday from 11:30 a.m. Eastern to 11:50. Very quick 2 sessions. And the first 10 minutes are going to be a live meditation that Rob's going to walk us through. And then we're going to talk about mindset and then business strategies to start the week. And so we're basically giving someone the framework and the time to take for themselves. And like Simon said, it's like something people should be thinking about, but don't. That 5 to 7 minute meditation on a Monday and Friday, the fuel it gives you to your cells, to your mind, to your nervous system, I just think it is priceless.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I see it a lot too with even forget about business, like even with spouses, right? Like me and my wife would do this. We wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and the first thing we do is grab our phones, right? And we just instantly, we'd be right into business. Like boom, we wake up right into business. And I think that when I started growing my business and I started really having, things became bigger than me, right? I had other people I was responsible for, and I just had to perform, and I had to, deliver on my promises. And, the mind space, my head game, it became more important than ever. And I started recognizing things, and I started reading more, which made me understand this and being aware of it. I don't understand it completely still. And I'm not a master of it yet. But I started becoming aware of it. I started paying attention to things, right? Like that, waking up in the morning, and my wife, the first thing we're doing is we go right to work. And it's like, why don't we spend 10 minutes together of just not even talking or just, whatever. And we started doing that, and it's been a game changer. It's been a game changer we've always had a great relationship even before that, but it just makes us aware. And even with our kids, right? At night, you put on a cartoon. It's like, I don't want to watch this. So me and my, we're on doing work while the kids, so why don't we watch it with them? Right. And ask them questions and engage. And it made me start being aware of it, because if not, it's just like the same thing every day, and you're not really aware of your surroundings, and you're missing a lot when you don't take the time to do that. So when I heard that, Rob, you were going to be a part of this, John was doing this, I was super pumped, because you hear real estate. Like I do real estate. A lot of people do real estate, right? But not a lot of people talk enough about what you do. And I think it's pretty cool and special. And it's kind of like everybody should do it, and spend some more time with it. So it's pretty cool.
It's like free medicine. Right? It's like free medicine. And you know what? I just want to highlight one thing, Simon, that you've said, which is all of the coaching groups. I think coaching in general and mentorship in general, and it all starts with awareness, right? I mean, Rob was talking about intent, which is so important, of course. But the minute we start raising our awareness, that's what I love about the one-to-many model. Because when you have a group of people, one person makes a comment, so many other people are affected positively from that comment. Even in a meditation, when you energetically are meditating in a group, you can feel and sense the energy and the vibration and frequency rising of the collective group. And it all starts with the people. Simon, ours is targeted, is focused on residential realtors, and Randy and I lawyers, and Jeff, Sloan and I new business owners, and Rob and I, business-minded people and people who want meditation. But really, each group is for someone who has gotten to a level of consciousness where they know the level of consciousness that got them to where they are will not get them to where they want to be. And they have a higher level of yearning, of awareness that they want to find. And that's, to me, the target of frankly, my clients, but also everybody who will join these groups. That's the energy I think we want.
Of course. Yeah.
Rob, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I can add much more to that. The discipline is important. I'm always hesitant to use the word discipline because for some it kind of scares them away, but it's more about rhythms and rituals that we have in our life. And I think I've heard Simon talk a lot about that in terms of how you get yourself prepared for having the best success that you can have, being the best person that you can be, and having a good rhythm and ritual around the practice of meditation and understanding how it's serving you in that maybe you're not, maybe some people's expectations are that you go to a place of Zen for that period of time, which isn't really the case. What you're really doing is practicing. So when you get back into the real world, so to speak, you can really show up and be at your best every moment.
Yeah, it's key. I mean, I think that, one of the topics I kind of wanted to talk about today is I'm a big believer in, I can't stand when people try to sell me. So I either want something or I recognize something and I dive into it. And I think you have a ton of stuff on social platforms right now that are selling people, right? A lot of different coaching programs. I mean, they're out there, right? We're seeing them and a lot of different avenues people can choose from. But, I said this 2 weeks ago when we did this, and I'm going to say it again, is I think what's unique about what we're doing here, and one thing I really want to talk about today is we're normal people, and we're not, that have really dove into something and we're mastering our craft, and we're not people who were, I wasn't born into real estate, and John talked about his dad being a dentist, and now he's a coach, right? It's like he worked really hard at it, and he made a living, and he's growing his business, doing something that, he's dedicating his life to. And I think that it's very important for people to understand that, why should they sign up and work and be a part of something that we're doing here? I don't want to be the guy that's like, call today, it's $100 a month, and we're going to help you grow your business, and what they're getting everywhere else. And I guess I would like to hear from you guys on why should people sign up besides just that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And why you, Rob, and why you, John, and why me, Simon, and not just because I'm going to help you grow your business, right? So I think it's important. I think people need to know who we are and know they need to like us, but it's different. So when John presented this opportunity and we talked about it, when I meet you face to face, I can learn, I can get you to like me, right? But now we're in a computer screen, and now I'm talking to, thousands of people at one time, 10 people, however many are on this, and you're not getting that person engaged with you to get them to like you, asking them the personal questions. So why us? You know what I mean? And I guess, John, I'd like to start with you first.
Sure. So I think, to me, I think what separates all of us, and I think we all have the ability to do this, and why I think it's in alignment, and why it not only serves all of us as partners and the individual things that we're doing, but it serves anybody who would join the group, and it serves the collective. Is I think, I come from a mindset, when Rob talks about intent, I am of service to other people. Right. And so I work really, I study, I work hard. I'm always a person of learning, but I also am a really good listener. And from listening, I put myself in a space where I can allow things to kind of flow through me. And so, and what that does for me is it allows me to do real-time coaching. And real-time coaching, and having the content and ability to real-time coach someone in a question, in a scenario, if they have the courage to bring it up in a one-to-many setting, allows me to be very specific and focused on that person. And it's the same in my one-on-one coaching world or my keynote world. And so when you can do that, you're not just selling a generic product. You're not selling, follow these 3 steps, follow, A through Z, or here are the 3 C's for success. It is, share with me where you are stuck. I can ask from listening some questions, and then I can dive in and guide them to what their next step is. And that to me is also about, being present, which is, here's your next step, right? Your primary goal is to get to the next step, not know the next 10 steps. Because the 3rd step doesn't show itself sometimes until the 2nd step is moving. And so I think the listening, the real-time coaching, the content, the being very connected to it is one of the reasons people want to sign up. I see in the coaching group that I started in December of last year, I will come and I'll have a topic and I will, evolve the topic. And then it's not mandatory to talk at those groups. But those that do, I can dive in and do real-time coaching and know that they can take what we talk about in the moment and implement it when they get off of that call. And that's how I've grown my coaching business. And that's how I have seen it evolve into the one-to-many. And the way to stay connected with everyone is to give everyone a platform where if they want to be anonymous and not participate, they can be an observer. And if they want to jump in and dive in, we can do real-time coaching that customizes it for them.
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. What about you, Rob?
I mean, I think where I have learned in my life the best has always been through sharing life experiences. Mm-hmm. And I've been a part of a number of groups, and I imagine I will be as my career and as my life goes on. And being able to hear from different people and learn through their experiences has been so useful. Now, my particular experience in how I found meditation and found it to become a useful part of my life, came from a lot of business anxiety, a lot of striving, and a lot of, experiences from growing up that were challenging. And I became passionate after many people would ask me about meditation and have so much curiosity about how it was useful in my life, that I thought maybe I could share a bit about what I've learned along the way. And it seems to have become useful for other people. And I have a book, Do Nothing, the most rewarding leadership challenge you'll ever take. And so I documented it in there and have gone on to share the story and share some of the tools and things that I've learned along the way through talks and facilitations with business people in business.
Yeah. Business anxiety. That was and I heard a lot what you just said, but that sticks in my head, business anxiety. And I think just, making, doing something with your life and making a career out of it and something you're passionate in. Cause I think there's a lot, about a month ago, I was somewhere and a gentleman that I was with, he made a statement like, my career is just what I do, but I don't love what I do. And I felt really bad for him. Like I was kind of like, God, could you imagine waking up every day and stressing about that? Right. And I think business anxiety, when COVID happened, a lot of people said to me, like, Simon, God, don't you wish you were an agent again? And I'm like, no, I don't. I love being an agent, but I love being in this position. I have a ton of anxiety and I have a ton of pressure, and it's all about business, right? And it's all about making your bills and your payments and all this stuff and making this work. And this isn't going to, right? And the business anxiety part of it, I think, or just anxiety in general, I think there's good anxiety and there's bad anxiety, good pressure, bad pressure. And, you said it, Rob, through your life, through your career, you've learned a lot. You've you've developed into who you are today. And John, I mean, I'm sure we've had a lot of conversations. You're the same way.
Yeah.
When in your life did you embrace that, or understand the difference, or accept that? And when did that happen for you? Because it's different for everybody, but when did that happen for you?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So I'm 31 years old. I'm in real estate. I got in real estate when I was 30, knew nothing about real estate. Was working 100 hours a week, had 8 units in Garden City. I thought, this is the bottom. I have been working a year for 8 units, that I listed. And then in 1 week, I'm not saying this to impress you, just to impress upon, after about a year and a half, I got $100 million worth of listings in 1 week from 4 different companies. I knew everything about them. I underwrote them. I knew everything about them. Listed them on a Friday, and then the next Monday, I'm 31 at the time, I presented them to my Chicago offices via a conference call. That was kind of staticky. And I didn't spend the weekend going over them. I knew these properties like I know my name. And so I spent hundreds of hours underwriting them. I do a quick presentation. People start asking me questions. I can't remember one thing about the properties, not one. I'm sweating. I'm having a full anxiety attack over this conference call. I couldn't remember one thing. So the phone was a little staticky. And I remember I had read in a book, Herb Cohen, You Can Negotiate Anything, that if you ever lose control of a meeting, a phone call, you hang up on yourself talking. So somebody asked me a question. I barely can breathe. I'm pouring sweat. They say, can you tell me? I said, oh, the answer to that is I hung up on myself. And I emailed the manager, and I said, hey, I don't know what's wrong with the connection, but if anybody has any questions, have them call me. I picked up the phone and I called my therapist, Dr. K, and I said, something is not right. I need an IQ test. He facilitated an IQ test, a 5 days, 2 hours a day IQ test. And he said to me at the end, you should buy a book, Living with Dyslexia. So I said, for who? So he was like, for you. And so I realized, okay, so I've had this learning disability my whole life. Didn't know it. And I called my dad. I'm like, I mean, did you think about getting, a test when I was 5 or 10, So I started to learn how I learned. And I don't think it was a coincidence. I think it was the universe's and God's hand. Because when I was 18, my dad said to me, Jonathan, here's a set of tape sets by Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Success. I believe that you will learn more from these people than you will college. And there is not a day that's gone by I haven't studied them. Fast forward 13 years, I find out, I always thought I was visual. I was actually auditory. I was heavy. My primary way of learning is auditory. And so that's why I could listen to a tape and retain it, but reading, I couldn't retain as well. And so I started to learn how I learned. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to be a victim because I have learning disabilities and dyslexic and this and the other. I'm just going to learn how I learn. And now I use the tools, although sometimes frustrating, but I use the tools and how I prep, and I know what I need to do so I can show up and not forget everything. Because what I learned was I can study something for 100 hours. If I go a day without then giving it a 1 minute to 5 minute review prior to, my brain can't retrieve it. So I just have to utilize and just, have my tools. Mm-hmm. So, it's funny because I just interviewed a guy on my podcast at 12. He went to Yale and got his MBA at Stanford. So I was asking him about Yale and Stanford. And while I was asking him the question, I thought, nobody ever asked me what it was like to go to Eastern Michigan University. but I always had to study 12 hours a day, and I couldn't figure out why. So I think following that, I started getting business coaches, mentors, and studying even more about my brain. So I understood how my brain, so I didn't feel stupid. I felt empowered.
Yeah, feeling stupid and I can relate to that. I was the same way growing up. I mean, reading, writing, it was not my thing, and everybody my family jokes to me about it. And I always said, if I can graduate from college, anybody can graduate from college. And because I did Oakland University, but I was the same way, John. And there was, it just, things didn't click the way things I thought clicked with the people around me. And, you know, they would be teaching and I'd be like, what are they even talking about? Right. Always lost. Yeah. And it made me use kind of gift of gap versus,
correct. Me too.
Versus my, you know, I had to use other tools and it was, I can relate to that a lot. Right. And that's why I think that, you know, it's important. Like that's what I want to get at here. Like, you're a normal person with challenges and you're successful, right? Like I'm the same way. I'm not where I want to be and I want to continue to grow, but like we're normal people with major challenges that we've had to overcome, and still there's still more coming, right? We're not there yet. And
Simon, I just want to say this. I got a 7 on my ACTs. I got a 720 combined on my SATs. The year I got a 7 on my ACTs, I think a monkey got a 14. I mean, I literally could not take a test. I don't know how I got through high school and college.
Well, John,
I really don't.
That's not good to promote for this, you know, for your, you know, for us to get clients. No,
it's all right. But you know
I
what?
love that. That to me.
But it is. I tell my kids that all the time, right? And so, but to me, it's like it was another example of how I learn. I'm not a test taker. If I had to take a test today, I would fail it. I mean, I remember going to my teacher saying, I've never missed a class. I've read the book 3 times. Did we go over this? That's on its but I know business, right? So I know business. And that's what I study.
People.
I know people. Yeah.
You know, people, and you're not afraid to fail, and you've probably done a lot of things. And I've had these conversations with you, and that to me is much stronger than reading, you know, being able to read or write or take a test, whatever. And that's important. I had a teacher tell me one day, because I was, you know, I was trying hard, but I was failing miserably, and he pulled me off the side. He says, "You're not," and he told me flat out in high school, "You're not going to be successful." and I looked at him and I said, were you really good in school? He said, yeah. He said, I was a straight A. And I said, and do you come to work happy every day and you make 35 grand a year? Are you successful? And he yelled and screamed at me. And I didn't say it to be cocky or arrogant. I was just more like mad, you know, and it's not about the money, but it was more about, I know he wasn't happy, because for him to tell a 15-year-old that you're not a happy person and you're not going to tell me I'm not going to be successful. And I think it clicked with him, which made him more even mad. And it sent me to the principal's office, and I told him the story, and the principal actually had my back. He was like, you know, but that's, you know, people can have a big part in your life and say something to you. And that was a motivator for me. Like, I remember that moment. I think about it all the time. And I didn't to me, some people go backwards. I went forwards, and, you know, but Rob, I didn't give you a chance. I know we don't have much time, but Rob, I'd like you to answer, you know.
First of all,
can I say one thing? I don't want to take away from your time, Rob, but I just want to highlight this for 10 seconds. I've always been able to tap into my EQ. And I think a lot of people don't talk enough about your emotional intelligence. You know, you talk about people and who are and emotional intelligence and intuition and knowing people, I think, are key. We don't need to dive into it right now, but I think those are really key. And you can't listen to the people who are these, you know, like your teacher, or the test I took in kindergarten that said I was qualified. I said I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, and it said that I was qualified to be a dock loader. You know, it's like, these don't know your inner being of the DNA of your soul. And what these groups are going to do, it's going to bring out the soul of people. Because I think all of the people every one of these groups, every coach has a high EQ and knows how to bring potential and the soul out of everyone. I just wanted to highlight that for a second. Rob,
it's a good stopping point, to be honest with you, John. I love that.
Yeah.
And it is a good stopping point. And I don't want people to also, just to clarify, like teachers, like on the other hand, I had a teacher that was the opposite. You know, he saw that I had challenges, and he used to embrace it. And he was a game changer for my life in a positive direction. And you know, but there's somebody who loves what he does and is dedicated and love helping kids. Right. And that's That was great. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. John, I don't know if you want to go through everybody real quick and then before we wrap this up.
I just want to promote, because I don't want to waste too much time, but johndwoskin.com, go to group coaching. There's a group for sales. There's a group for residential realtors. There's a group for new business owners. There's a group for attorneys. And there's a group for people who just want meditation and some business coaching to bookend your weeks, Monday through Fridays. All the information can be found. The 4 group, Rob Dube and I are doing one group together, Randy Denha and I, Jeff Sloan and I, Simon, you and I, and it's going to be really, if you're looking to raise your awareness and your consciousness and provide tools that you can implement into your day, then go to johndwoskin.com to learn more, and you can reach out to any of us if you have any questions. And they start at the end of July.
Yes. Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate your
Great
time.
seeing you guys.
Thank you guys. This was fun.
Bye.